The top performers are proudly sponsored by Warrington Wolves Supporters Trust Squad Builder. Here are your top performers from round number 11 of the Betfred Super League. The top try scorers, both with magnificent hat-tricks for George Whitby of St Helens and Tex Hoy of the Castleford Tigers. The most try assists were 2, and they were made by Lachlan Lamb, Edwin Pape, Alex Bella, Dejan Hassett, Mark Percival, Mason Lino, Machu Koza, Jai Field, Bevan French and Mark Sneed. The top metre maker of the round was Nene McDonald, welcome back, 230 metres. Whilst the top tackle buster was Magic Mikey with 10. The most clean breaks also came from Mikey Lewis of Hull KR with 3. Whilst the most hard metres made were by the man who has made more hard metres than anybody in Super League this season, Alex Walmsley, 130 for the Saints. The top tackler was Jared O'Connor of the Leeds Rhinos, 60. Oh yes, bruising. And finally, with a perfect 8 from 8, the best marksman with the boot this week was Rowan Milnes of the Castleford Tigers. These were your top performers. This production comes to you in association with the Bluebell Warrington. Situated in an 18th century building in the town centre and just a 5-minute walk from the HJ Stadium, the Bluebell is the perfect destination for pre and post-game food and drink. The 2024 Warrington Pub of the Year is now the official home of Super League Raw on Warrington Wolves match days for both home and away supporters. Super League Raw are delighted to have agreed a members-only area, allowing our community to come together to discuss rugby league pre and post-match. So set your course to the Bluebell Warrington on match days and beyond. You are sure to be greeted with a warm welcome and a cold beer. Super League Raw and the Bluebell, the perfect partnership in enhancing your match day experience.
Finally got a win. We've finally got him. Here he comes. Matt Sims on his way down the road. Here he comes. We're moments away from the big fella. Get excited, ladies and gentlemen. He's here. Here he comes. I'm not sure if that's Kieran. I think it could be. Yes, it is. Kieran's just ahead. Kieran! Come on, Chief. Matty! Here comes Kieran. Come on, mate. Get over here, boys. We are live on YouTube. We are live, boys. It's all about you. We've done a big shout out for your lad. We've got the GoFundMe page underneath. Kieran, would you like to say a big thank you to people who are supporting you, mate?
Massively to the Super League Raw community. You're amazing, honestly. This guy as well. Can't thank him enough. What a guy.
Absolutely. Matty, mate, how you feeling, son?
It's warm.
It's warm.
Yeah, it's warm.
We've got a lot of people watching you. I'm sure people will watch you later. From your perspective, you've been blown away, mate, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's just can't put into words. The support we set out not looking to raise nearly as much, I think, as what we've raised, and just absolutely smashed it. And the generosity of the Super League members and those who support us along the way, liking, sharing on social media, it's just been phenomenal, and thank you to everyone.
Look at the pain this boy's put himself through. Absolutely outstanding. Look, we won't delay you any longer, boys. More money's coming your way, Kieran. Give our love to Alfie. Go, boys. Great stuff. Look after yourselves. Take care. All the best. So there you go. Matty and Kieran, absolute heroes, incredible, absolutely incredible. Please go to the GoFundMe page. Look at the hurt on Matty's face there. Absolutely outstanding effort from the man. Really, really pleased. So there you go. That's us at the 10k run, doing our bit. Super League Raw family for young Alfie Sales, Kieran there as well, in absolute agony, but worth every single step that they're putting in. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you've given already, maybe an extra £5. If you haven't given already, then please do donate today. Wouldn't it be lovely when they get to the finish line if they see that actually they've got a little bit more money, having put their bodies on the line like they have for that little boy. On behalf of myself and my little girl, how proud are you and Matt?
I'm really proud. The reason he's gone up to do this for Alfie, it's really good.
It is really, really good. And you wanted to be here to wave him by, didn't you, Babs? Yeah. Happy days. So on behalf of me, on behalf of Grace, and on behalf of the Super League Raw community and everybody, well done to Matt, well done to Kieran. You're absolute heroes. And young Alfie, look at what you are creating, young man. That's how special you are. From us here at the 10K, bye for now. So there you go. No better way to start this edition of Super League Raw Weekly. Both Kieran and Matty put themselves through the pain barrier this Sunday, the 10K at Manchester. And we're currently on £2,110 to the Sales family. Lads, heartwarming start to this show. Congratulations to both Kieran and to Matt, Greg.
Oh, yeah, I've done the Manchester 10K several times, and I know how painful it is. So absolutely brilliant. Well done, guys. Proud of you, and I hope the jelly babies came in useful to get you through that last 2K.
Absolutely. Steph, we've done some special things here at Super League Raw, but this one for me, I'm incredibly humble. When me and Greg started this 4 years ago, to think that this community would have adopted a family like we have done, and, you know, raised this amount of money already. They're going to have some very special times together, aren't they?
They are, and hopefully we can go even further with it. And obviously he's done the run now, but that doesn't mean things stop. So
Nope.
You know, let's get this target. You know, I think it's up to 5k the target now. That's our next big push for it. But what an effort from Matt and also Kieran as well. It was, you know, really hot temperatures, and to do a 10k in any conditions is tough. I could definitely not do it, but no, what an effort and what a community we've got. It's inspiring.
Absolutely. And Joel, I mean, you found it difficult drinking all those pints of lager at Hull KR on Saturday night. Imagine doing a 10k run Sunday morning, mate.
I think I struggle to drive 10k, let alone so.
Happy days. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is really, really important, okay? As Steph has already said, it's not stopped yet. At the top there is the QR code to donate to Action for Alfie. Now, you know, the bottom line is the Sales family have done so much good work to raise awareness and to raise money for this disease. What we're doing, which is a little bit different, is that we're raising money for the family so that they can go and spend that money on creating memories with the little man himself. And you know what? We had to do it. Guests of honour, royalty. Here's young Alfie. Alfie, how are you, young man? Are you well? How are you doing, Chief? Are you good?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now then, that man to your left is your daddy. How proud are you of what he did on Sunday for you?
I'm very proud.
Absolutely. And what about your new adopted godfather in Matty Timms? What do you make of Matty?
Thank you for doing the one for me.
You are a little superstar. Ladies and gentlemen, if that isn't worth doing that QR code to give a fiver, I don't know what is. Kieran, you know, it's wonderful that we're being able to do this for you. Monies are going to be being transferred to you so you can start booking these trips. I believe Alfie has revised his wish list. Can you bring us up to speed with what some of this money might be going towards?
So he'd initially said that he wanted to do a football match abroad. So we had a little discussion late last week, and he's kind of looking at PSG. So he's going for the Paris Saint-Germain, who you wanted to see, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then we also had, he wanted to go to Madame Tussauds in London. So what we might try and do, because we've booked obviously through you guys with the Club Wembley trip, is that we might try and squeeze that in on the Friday if we can.
Yeah.
And get that done and boxed off while we're actually in London. So, but what else was on you had Legoland as well, didn't you, that you wanted to go to? So.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's absolutely wonderful. And of course, do share the photos with us as Alfie goes on this journey with you and the family, so we can be sharing them on the show. To the Super League Raw community who have really rallied round the family, Kieran, an opportunity for you. A lot of them are watching this evening. What would you as a family like to say to all those people who have donated and all those that are still today that I think will donate after seeing young Alfie this evening? What have you got to say to them?
Yeah, it's so overwhelming, and you know, just a massive thank you to everybody for the support. You know, for you guys for getting the ball rolling with it. I just set a picture in of Alfie, you know, and explained to you in terms of his condition, and a lot of the focus for what we've done has been around the awareness more than anything. You know, the last few years, because we'd never heard of Duchenne when Alfie was diagnosed. So again, it's just getting that word out, and it's reaching more people through you guys, through the rugby league community. So you know, we just can't thank you all enough. It's just magnificent.
Well, speaking on behalf of all of us, it's an absolute pleasure. It really, really is. And little. I mean, I know Alfie watches Super League Raw, and we've got a new segment called "What Would Oliver Say?" And he's not much older than you, I don't think, Alfie. But this is how special that you are, okay? Ollie is going to be donating his pocket money.
Oh.
What have you got to say to young Ollie?
You have to do that.
Well, he wants to do that. He wants to do that, Alfie. That's how special you are. Yeah, he wants to do that. So I'm sure that you want to say a big thank you, yeah?
Yeah.
Good man. Now then, we've got a date, me and you and the boys, on the 7th of June. Are you looking forward to being our guests at the Challenge Cup final?
Yeah.
Yeah? Who are you going to be supporting, Hull KR or Warrington?
Think about this carefully, Alfie.
Warrington, good lad. You can
Yes.
come again. That's what we like to see. But no, look, guys, it's an absolute privilege to have you on the show. Massive shout out to Matty Timms as well, who I know is watching tonight. It's incredible what you're doing. We are going to have more events, more things coming as well. Myself and Matt spoke earlier on today, so keep your eyes peeled for that, ladies and gentlemen. We will be doing so much more with the family, and like I say, let's try and get that young man to Paris Saint-Germain, Legoland, wherever his heart desires. Let's try and do it as a Super League Raw community. That's what makes Super League Raw different from any other podcast. It's two ways, and the Sales family would, I'm sure, Kieran, support that.
Yeah. Can I just say a massive thank you to Matt as well, because, you know, the work that he's put in, it has just been, you know, out of this world in terms of, you know, I never even knew this guy before, you know, until like February. And he's just done so much, and he's kept in regular contact. You know, it was the first time that we'd actually met, apart from we actually bumped into each other at the Trafford Centre, believe it or not. And we didn't know each other then as such, but he's just been amazing. And you know, to do the run as well in those conditions, I'm telling you, it was hot.
It looked hot. I felt guilty having me Coca-Cola with Gracie. And Alfie, my little daughter.
Beer for us.
Yeah, my little daughter Alfie's really looking forward to meeting you at Wembley as well. Now then, since we've been on air, we're just short of 2,200 quid. The money's flowing in here. I'm actually watching it as we're on air. So the money's trickling in. And also Simon Shaw, another Super League Raw member, he's going to buy those Madame Tussauds tickets for the family in London. So he's said that he's going to buy you those tickets. So there's no excuse now, Alfie. Daddy's taking you to Madame Tussauds because Simon Shaw said so. Okay?
Outstanding. Right, we're going to bid you to all the love in the world. Thanks very much indeed for joining us this evening. Alfie, make sure you carry on watching the show, yeah?
Okay.
Good man. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. You take care, big fella, okay?
Okay.
Bye-bye, big fella. See
Thanks
you, Kieran.
very
All the
much.
best.
See you, Alfie.
Thanks a lot.
See you, Alfie.
Right, we may as well end the show now. You can't top that.
Good night, everyone. I got quite emotional there.
Well, the boys, for those watching, the boys didn't know I was doing that. They didn't know that the guys were with us this evening. But yeah, very, very special young man.
Yeah.
Simon Shaw, legend. Well done, mate. I'm sure that just have a look online, see what the tickets cost, and maybe donate it to the GoFundMe page. Because, like I say, we are transferring that money to the Sales family this week. But we are keeping the GoFundMe page open. The running total will continue. Let's continue to any loose change we've got in the sofa. Let's throw it to that family. Let's give that lad some incredible memories.
Definitely.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I know. Honestly, it's like, where do you go from there? Where do you go from there? There's only one place, isn't there? Banging or hanging?
This is what would Oliver say at Super League Raw. So, on Thursday night, Johnny Lomax made a huge return for the Saints against the Dragons after being dropped for several weeks by Paul Wellens. I think that he made a huge return just by his partnership with George Whitby and his leadership skills for the Saints. What do you think, Super League Raw?
So what do we think, Super League Raw? Who would like to answer Oliver's question?
I think I'm out of a job. That's what I think. He makes a great point, doesn't he? Yeah, Catalan were not the best. But yeah, it was a great comeback by Johnny Lomax. And yeah, you know that teams need that blend of experience and that youthful enterprise sometimes. I think that's exactly what it was. I think George Whitby will learn a lot playing alongside Lomax. It's a shame, you know, Johnny Lomax probably is in the twilight years of his career because you know, if he had a couple, 3 more years left, I think Whitby could develop into, well, I think he will anyway, but I think he would develop a lot quicker into an absolute world-class halfback because he's certainly got all the skills. I think Lomax gave him that time, that room, and took the pressure off his shoulders a little bit to actually show how good he is. Yeah, it was Catalan. They didn't have the best night, but, you know, brilliant. Yeah, I thought they worked really, really well together.
Steph?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that experience, when you've got a 17-year-old lad, I know he's just turned 18, just coming into the game, you need to have that experience beside you just to be a voice on the pitch for you as well. Maybe the words of encouragement or whatever. But what a talent he's going to be, Whitby, and Lomax has been one of the best for many years now. So if he can, you know, just get as much knowledge from him about the game as possible, that's going to stand him in great stead. But it's a really good point, and I think that's now the positions for Saints and Wellesby at fullback. I think that just will calm things down a bit for them, and they can build on that. And then obviously Robertson to come back as well, which will only enhance that back line. So yeah, great point, Oliver.
Yes, you need to drop the U there, Mr. Forth. Joel, over to you.
Yeah, well, we've been calling for some settling in the spine, and they've certainly needed some experience, and that of Mr. Lomax is doesn't come much greater than him, especially if he's going to be potentially not going to be there next year. We don't know that for definite, but if the rumours are true that he is going to hang up his boots, first of all, well played to Johnny Lomax for his career staying in Super League all these years. But also, that he could be the reason why Saints can keep a solid, foundation within the league this year, and hopefully train and teach the young lads of tomorrow how they can maybe somehow start to fill his shoes over the coming years.
Yeah, you never know. It might encourage Lomax to stay on another year playing alongside somebody like Whitby.
Possible.
Could put spring in his game as well.
You'd expect Lomax maybe to have a job in the coaching setup, couldn't you? Maybe. All I know is that Rory McIlroy's playing really well for him.
And you never see me in the same room as Paul McCartney either.
It's uncanny. It's uncanny. I've been looking at George Whitby for weeks and thinking, who does he remind me of? It's a young Rory McIlroy, isn't it? You know, it's time travel real, Greg. Has Rory McIlroy travelled through time and become a rugby league player in his youth?
Well, it's a cross between Paul Weller's, Paul McCartney, and Rory McIlroy.
Anyway, we'll let it be. Whoa! There you go. Oh, there you go. Boom, boom, boom. Anyway, there you are. Right, let's get into it. We'll stay on the screen as a collective. Steve McNamara would appear to have. I think this is pretty solid on the rumour mill. Not complete. Hasn't been announced yet by the club. Very unusual. We do this on Super League Raw, but there's no smoke without fire. Yeah. There's that many good sources that are saying this has happened today. He's gone. So Steve McNamara, 8 years a Catalan Dragon. I mean, look, first and foremost, Greg, a 57.94% win ratio. When you consider what that team was like when he got there and the work that he's done, to be having a win ratio of that percentage, he goes for me with his head held high. I mean, obviously, you've got the trophies there as well that he won, but that's a good win percentage by any coach's standard in Super League.
He turned them around. There's no doubt about that. You know, League Leaders Shields, Challenge Cups under McNamara, final at least. You know, at least one final under McNamara. I think he's done a phenomenal job. And it's just flashed up on Sky Sports that apparently French media have confirmed that he's left. So, don't know how solid we can treat that, but yeah, I mean, he's done a magnificent job, and I'm sure there's a role. There's still a role in the league waiting for him somewhere along the line. Lots of rumours flying around this afternoon when the news broke. So yeah, I mean, we spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, Magic Weekend.
We did. Yeah,
absolute top bloke, lovely guy. Wish him nothing but the best, and you know, it's a shame. It's a shame that it maybe he's had to end without him getting the big one, because there was a time a couple of years ago where Catalan could have quite easily, and they were very, very close in that grand final to taking the trophy. Very, very close. And it's a shame he didn't quite get his hands on that trophy at the end of the day. But good luck to him. He's done absolutely brilliantly with the with Catalan.
One of the rumours, Steph, John Boys. Hello, John. That's a new name on us. John Boys, director of rugby at Leigh.
Well, there's a vacant position there, obviously. Whether that's something Steve is looking at, I know obviously having Ben at the club maybe make that even a bit more attractive for him. I think it depends on whether he wants another head coach's job, because I think there's going to be some of those coming up soon in Super League anyway, whether he wants to apply for those. But I could see him in a director of rugby position. He's got fantastic contacts over in the NRL as well. Very well respected, former international, obviously England coach as well. So very well respected in the game, and Leigh could go further wrong than appointing him as director of rugby.
Well, Carla Collier, you know, if George Whitby is the doctor, then Carla Collier is the companion, because she says that she called this earlier in the season. A fine companion Carla will be as well to the doctor, it has to be said. Outstanding stuff. And Jill's with us as well. She saw a great performance on Final Whistle, Jill, this week, and she's saying it's a shame he was good for French Rugby League, and he was good for French Rugby League, Joe. Yeah. I mean, you know, he won the cup, he won the Challenge Cup final in 2018, a League Leaders Shield in 2021. He took him to 2 grand finals. You know, that is, you know, by anybody's standards in an 8-year period, not many coaches have had that outside of Wigan, Leeds, Saints, etc. That's a great knock.
100%, and he's also had, you know, the international head, you know, so he knows how to manage elite players. And I think no matter where he goes, whether it is still in coaching or if it is in some sort of director of rugby kind of position, I think he's going to be an asset to any club for his experience, but also his knowledge. Because, you know, I think every club needs that. Even if you're not the head coach, they always need them people as backup and support. You know, we'll welcome him back at Huddersfield, I'm sure, in some capacity. Not that it'll come, but you know, there's many clubs out there that do need his expertise. So yeah, he's not going to be searching for jobs for long.
No, I mean, obviously, there's the Brad Arthur one who appears now to be trailing Burgess for the Perth job in 2027. I mean, there's a lot of clickbait around Sam Burgess at the moment. He's contracted for 2026. That ends at the end of 2026. The Perth job will come available 2027. It's the perfect synergy. We expect Sam Burgess to go back to Australia, perhaps, for the Perth Bears job. Of course, that would mean Warrington's vacant. What's going to happen now with Brad Arthur? There's a big question mark there. And equally, there's a question mark of what happens at the Dragons. Nick Young in the chat, Paul Rowley to the Dragons. I mean, Steph, you know him better than most. He didn't fancy travelling all the way to Hull. What's the chances of taking the family to France, mate?
I would be surprised. I'm not saying it won't happen. He may well. Paul's been to Toronto, don't forget, as head coach. But whether he
deserves an holiday, mate, after what he's gone through this.
He definitely does. I mean, I was going to say absolutely not, but then the Toronto thing just shot in my head. But he has got a young family. Obviously, I know Toronto did a lot of the training over here when he was coach as well. Whether he would uplift his family over there, I'm not so sure he would, but you never know. Everyone's got a price, haven't they? So I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see.
Good seeing Judson saying his Hail Marys and his half father's a good Christian lad like Ian. When Willie Peters heads back down under, perhaps he could take over at KR. Willie's going nowhere yet, Ian. You've got far more pain to come your way. Oh, yes, happy days. No doubt about that whatsoever. But no, I mean, look, before we move off this topic, we're always respectful. I think you've got to be respectful for the job that Steve Mack has done. The current roster have really let him down for me this season. And people will say, well, that's coaching. But when you've got seasoned professionals like the man who came out and criticised Super League in Luke Keary, Pangai Jr.'s got the quality. Looks like he's, as you said, Steph, having a bit of steak and red wine. It just doesn't look right. I mean, the French boys who've come in, the Aspiro Bichets, etc., they put a shift in. And of course they put a shift in. But some of those seasoned pros for me, have they let him down?
I think they have a little bit, yeah, and I think the Keary thing's been a big distraction. I think that's you've got your marquee star player who's coming out saying that, and regardless of how they dress it up and say he didn't really mean it, he meant every word of what he said, and it's very easy to try and backtrack on it, but that's not helped, and you just don't know if he's. Obviously, this has been going on for a while. It's not just been a sudden knee-jerk reaction. Those conversations will have been happening. And it kind of does explain a few of the recent performances, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've seen it. And, Greg, when you see a coach come out and be as frosty as he was to Jenna Brooks, that for me was, I think we all felt that was quite telling.
Yeah, because he's not that type of a guy. And... No. Jenna Brooks isn't really that offensive in her interviewing techniques. He was very, very spiky. I think Catalan has been a club that at the end of almost every season, they seem to have a huge turnover of players. And you think, well, surely that's going to kind of be to their detriment the season after. And they've always got through that and they've always brought players in. I think this year that might have caught them up. They've had I don't think it's probably a bigger turnover this year as they've had it a few seasons ago, but it seems to have caught them up. And yeah, you're right. I think probably the writing's been on the wall for a long time. He's probably seen the media manager at Warrington, social media manager at Warrington Wolves jobs going and thought, I'll have a bit of that.
Our very own Sean is after that one. And good luck with that, Sean, as well. And happy birthday to Sammy for this weekend as well. Young Sammy, of course, turning 12. A big happy birthday to him. Again, that's Super League Raw. We've got people of all ages a part of Super League Raw. And Martin Oust has cancelled his 18th-man membership this evening. And upgraded to a 6 again. Good lad. That's what we're talking about. Martin knows it makes sense. He's seen what we're doing here with this community. Outstanding. Well done, my friend. Right. Okay. So McNamara goes. Massive question marks over who long-term will take over. But Joel Tomkins is the man that will take interim charge against the Wigan Warriors this coming Sunday. Saturday, isn't it? Saturday night. What are we making of that? I mean, I thought Sam really, Joel, wouldn't you? Yeah. I'm amazed it wasn't Sam Tomkins, Joel.
Yeah, well, he's probably going to want to keep him in the squad, isn't he? Because he's still playing. Joel's not played for a number of years now. But I think he's also a type of guy that's going to have a word with someone like Luke Keary and say, look, son, you don't pack up your attitude, you can pack up your bags and go back to Oz if you fancy. You know, and whether he has that kind of power or not, you know, it takes someone like him to say something like that to him to kind of make him realise that he's never bigger than the game. You know, it's certainly not bigger than Super League, that's for sure, because, you know, otherwise his performance would have been amazing, but they've not been. It's been, you know, average at best. And then, you know, with the likes of Pangai Jr. possibly going to Rugby Union next year, if that is correct, we don't know for definite yet. You know, there's been unsettling in the camp, so maybe it needs a bit of togetherness, and then having the brothers at the same club, one be it coach, one be it playing, it may help steady the ship a little bit, even if it's just for this year and getting them into the pre-season.
Yeah, absolutely. If you were going to put your money on anybody at this moment in time, they might go Australia, Greg. But if you were going to, let's talk Northern Hemisphere. Who would be your favourite Northern Hemisphere to perhaps take the job?
That is a good question.
Could you see the Toulouse? Could you see the Toulouse coach going across?
Could well do. I think, you know, Steph. We've talked about Paul Rowley. You know, if there's no Salford job there, it might be a case of needs must. I think Rowley might be the obvious one, but you know, it's a very, very good question. I think they might opt for something like Demetriou from down under. Jason Demetriou. It's been rumoured a lot that he's going to take up the reins at a Super League club. You know, Demetriou, I think, would suit Catalan's style of play a little bit. So, you know, it's a good luck to Joel Tomkins. Good luck to the lad. If he's taking on that role interim, wish him all the best.
Yeah. Steph, final word on this. Who would you say? Can't hear you, Steph. Don't know what's happening there, mate.
Oh, sorry, I muted it. My smoke alarm was going off. Vicky's cooking tea, and I think it's ready. So
there's a timer gone off.
Yeah. So it threw me off that, mate. Sorry. Anybody else I could see
Definitely
for the
ready. Yeah. Saying who would be your favourite to take over at Catalan from the Northern Hemisphere if it was going to come from the Northern Hemisphere?
I don't think there's many others other than Paul. I think at some point in there, Craig Lingard. That's not a bad shout, you know. That can be surprising, but obviously experience. Yeah, you have to say Rowe is the most obvious. Whether Paul will want to go there is another matter. But yeah, we'll see.
We'll wait and see. But anyway, what it does do, again, it's always interesting. This change of coach, bad time to go to Perpignan. Bad time to go to Perpignan. You know, I think Wigan would have rather Steve Mack still been in situ than this to have happened. Not saying that Wigan won't go and do them, but you know, it happens in sport, doesn't it? It happens in sport. Right, we've got other hanging and bangings to get through. So goodbye to the boys. Hello to Reggie Nixon. Here we go, Greg. JWH, 15 points for his challenge at the weekend. What were your thoughts on this? Was it too hefty? Over to you.
But am I right in saying there was only one yellow card this weekend?
Yeah, I
think there was. He's obviously reached the threshold. We've complained over the years about the.
We got 15 points for this alone.
Yeah. This is what I'm coming to. We've complained for many years about the disciplinary panel and their arbitrary bans. I think this is a bit hefty, but it's a silver lining as far as I'm concerned for KR because he has a nice rest. He doesn't pick up any injuries. Jai Whitbread can step up. I'm sure there's a few others that can step up into the breach. It was hefty, I think, but it will in the long term. I think it'll do him and Hull KR a favour, and he'll be fresh and he'll be raring to go, barring any injuries in training or anything else, to go in the final.
But it's match sharpness, though, isn't it?
It is, but you know, this guy's a veteran. He's how many? He's match sharp all the time. He's played for many years. It's muscle memory. he's not going to be a lot below the 100% needed. He's going to be raring to go. Although, on the flip side of that, he has been known to get overexcited on the big occasion. But I think hanging short term because of the disciplinary panel, because, we thought we got over these decisions like this. But I think long term for him and Hooke are banging.
Fair enough. In the chat, all the members, all the people who are watching,
I agree.
They're filthy.
Yeah, I agree.
Filthy over this. Right, okie dokie. Goodbye to Mr. Nixon. Hello to Mr. Sale. We now go. It's confirmed the 1895 Cup final. Featherstone Rovers with an R that he's missing, taking on York Knights, of course. The Rovers overcoming Oldham, and the Knights having a cracking game against the Bradford Bulls, just edging that one. Should be a good game after the Challenge Cup final, this one, for those sticking around, Steph?
Yeah, definitely banging, and I suspect it was a really decent crowd at York for that Bradford fixture. I know Bradford travelled really, really well. I know Bradford were definitely earmarking this as to get to Wembley, not just for the experience, but for the IMG points as well, because that's going to be critical come the end of the season if Salford's demise does happen. Any point you can get, and winning the 1895 does come with IMG points. Is going to be massive for these clubs. But the really interesting one of these semi-finals is that both teams in the lower league position actually won this game. So that was brilliant results for both York and Featherstone to overcome Oldham and Bradford. So they're going to have a great day. The fans are going to have a great time. And more importantly, there's some very important IMG points come the end of the season.
Happy days indeed. Look forward to that one. Should be good. Over comes Mr. Scholes. No shade, Mr. Scholes. Ken Davies bid for to go over to Halifax next season. There has been another interested party come in, which will delay the decision to the 3rd of October. This ain't good news, especially considering what we've seen with Salford, that Huddersfield, right at the end of this season, aren't going to have a ground for next year.
Well, we can stay at the John Smiths as long as we want. That's what Kevin Nagels was happy with. So that's not an issue. I think the real issue for us is that we wanted to have that smaller stadium for next year, so our IMG points do go up. This is neither hanging or banging, I think, because it's you've got so many people at Huddersfield that are not happy with going to Halifax. But then there's everyone that's not happy with being at the John Smiths. Currently, being a Huddersfield fan, no one's happy with anything. And let's be honest, it all boils down to wins and losses.
Yeah. There
is far more losses than there are wins. And until that changes, people are going to be negative about absolutely everything. It's quite frustrating, actually. You see them the way they talk on social media, and I'm like, come on, just have some faith in your club. Ken Davey has got to where he has in business by making very shrewd and good business decisions. Taking the Shea on is clearly a very good business decision, and people have to think of the bigger picture sometimes. Okay, it's not going to be ready for next year, that's for sure. But it doesn't mean to say it's not going to happen. We just might have to have another year at the John Smiths, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, like I say, it's a bit of a saga. Not as much as what we're seeing at the SCS, but there you go. Right, okay, thanks for that, Joel. That just leaves myself to do the final bit, and I'll get the boys' view on this when they come back in a moment. That's right, we announced it to our members. Now we're announcing it live on the show. Super League Raw live at the Bluebell before every Warrington game. This Friday night for you travelling Robins fans and for you Warrington Wolves fans, the Super League Raw team will be live in the Bluebell doing debate, fun, games, and there will be prizes. The best way to rev it up, ready to walk down to the Halliwell Jones Stadium at roughly 7:15. So your destination, if you're travelling to Warrington on match days now, is the Bluebell. Come and join us. We'll be doing a full live show. We'll air it on YouTube. We will be asking people in the pub to come on camera and give us their views for the game. And like I say, we're going to have a bit of fun, couple of games, and there will be prizes up for grabs. So I'm going to bring the boys back in on this one. Now I've told you what's happening. Lads, is that hanging or is that banging?
I'll tell you on Friday.
How many beers is Reggie before going live on air?
He's not well. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to. Well, I can always mute his mic. You know,
You do that anyway, don't you?
Hey,
you do that anyway.
Well, yeah. But look, bottom line is, this is what it's all about. You've seen what we've just done with young Alfie. Look, guys, we're going to do a little pitch here now, right in the middle of the show, and then we're going to leave it alone. There is a QR code up there to become a member. Okay, for $4.99, you can get the middle tier, you can be in the WhatsApp group, and you can see our Round Unpack show every Monday, which is going down an absolute treat. But we have made a couple of announcements this week. Captain's Run is now going to be free of charge. The members are happy with that as well. So every Thursday now, you will be able to watch the Captain's Run on YouTube, where we prequel all of the games with stats, with analysis. We try and look at what the key battles are going to be. It's a more in-depth version of the predictions. So we get right down and dirty. And what we're also doing is we're inviting 6 again members to be guest presenters on that show as well. So there's an opportunity for 6 again and Team Talk members to come on that show now, which they've never had before. And Bazza Kingston has took up the first invitation. He's going to be with us this coming Thursday to prequel all the games and to get into that analysis. We've also opened up some more features for our Team Talk members. They are now allowed to do vlogs and blogs on our website. They can actually put things to myself, and what we'll do is we'll have a look at it. Might need to fine-tune it every now and again. We haven't had to do that yet, but we are now opening that up so that they can put their views as supporters on our website for other supporters to see. Nobody's doing that. There's no journalists out there anywhere that allow the fans to come onto a website to give their views, to give their opinions. But that's what we're doing because we are a community. Rugby League is about the fans. So we want as many of our members as possible to feel comfortable in writing about games, writing about news stories, doing vlogs from the games, and we will promote them on our platforms as well. So quite a lot of announcements there, but then we made another one. And this was a big announcement.
Yet again, and on a week where we've had quite a few announcements, here comes another one. This is an exclusive for our Team Talk members. Would you like to be involved in this? That's right, every week we will be picking one of the games that are being shown on the TV, and we're asking 2 members to go head to head on a watch along live. Suddenly the WhatsApp group has got something also to focus their attention on, not just the match, but what our members are having to say about that game. You will be live, no swearing of course, but you will be live throughout the game on YouTube doing a watch along live. You're going to have to be funny, you're going to have to make it interesting. It's going to be happening. Are you up for that challenge? If you are, get in touch. Perhaps this game that we just advertised a moment ago, will Simo be going? If he is, then great, obviously he can't do it, but if he isn't going, maybe him and Hilly could make a debut. But anyway, it doesn't necessarily have to be your team, but it would be great if it was. But yeah, give us a shout if you're interested in being a part of Watch Along Live, because the boys aren't doing it. It's over to you, the members. Get in touch. Super League Raw just keeps getting better. Speak to you soon.
Super League Raw does indeed just keeps on getting better, and already in the chat they're going. We've got young Golly going to come and see us at the Bluebell on Friday. John Wilkinson will be in there from 6. The show will start at 6:30. That's when it's going to be there. And Craig Forth, as always, one of the biggest champions of our channel, for $4.99 a month, 7 days of rugby league. You get to become a part of this wonderful, wonderful community. Don't hesitate. Throughout the show, there is the QR code. If you're listening on the podcast, there is a link in the description, and there's also a link in the descriptions of all of these shows this week for the GoFundMe page. So if you're not going to do that QR code during the show, you can go after the show to the description, click the GoFundMe page and go and donate to Action for Alfie. That will be absolutely marvellous. But boys, really looking forward to the Bluebell on Friday. Looking forward to Craig Forth on debut on Watch Along Live on Saturday. The big question is who is going to be doing that with him. We're going to have to arrange that, but Craig is confirmed. He's locked in. Should be another great step in the right direction from those little acorn beginnings of ours, Mr. Nixon.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait for this one. We did this in the early days. We did a few watch-alongs, and they're real fun. They really are fun. I remember we did one with a guy from Huddersfield. I can't remember his name. During lockdown, I think it was. when Huddersfield beat Warrington just after they'd opened the game up again after lockdown, and we got beat. We were something 0 down at half time and almost snatched it. But real good fun. Yeah, remember the no swearing policy, and it's difficult sometimes. But yeah, I used to love doing them, and I really, really look forward to watching how you guys get on calling it.
Remember that? Remember it was Huddersfield. I can't remember who it was. Remember the dive? Remember the dive? And me and you were rolling around our sofas because it was proper play acting football.
Yeah, that was the first example of it, wasn't it?
Yeah,
scene. Yeah. Who was that?
I can't remember, but it was so funny. Yeah, and me and you were proper going for it one way. But yeah, look, no swearing policy, Mr. Forth, no swearing policy. I don't know who's going to be doing it with you, but yeah, that's going to be live on YouTube. So again, that's alive to members and non-members, but only Team Talk members will be invited to come on and have the.
Was it Gaskell?
Could have been Gaskell. It was great fun. It was great fun. Right.
That sounds about right.
Right. Yeah. Just lots to get through. Baz is asking who's won the tickets. That's another thing. We are giving 2 tickets away to the Warrington game as well to our members. We put it out as an announcement today, and we've got people putting in there if they can attend or not. And tomorrow I will be drawing a name out the hat, and one lucky person is going to get 2 tickets to go and watch the Warrington Hull KR game free of charge. And of course, they can come and watch Super League Raw live before it. Somebody's going to have a belting Friday night, courtesy of Super League Raw. So what are you waiting for? Do the QR code, become a part of the community. Over 30 of us are going to the Challenge Cup final. I think there's going to be over 40 of us going to the grand final. At Magic, we had, again, getting on for 40. We had Wigan, Leigh. Pretty much everybody bar Catalan was in our posse, and the crowd was great. There was banter. We were getting on. We had a curry. Honestly, it's not just the rugby. And I said this last week. If you're on your own, if you haven't got anybody to go the rugby with, come and join this community.
Come with us. Come with
us. Absolutely outstanding. So there you go. Whew, this is turning into a bit of a show, boys, isn't it? It's turning into a bit of a show. Sales pitch over. Get the QR code done. Come and join.
I'll tell you what, though, Dave. Tonight we've had quite a few scanning the code.
Well, to be fair, and I'm not disappointed about that, a lot of them have been for Alfie, and we've raised over £100 during the show already for that cause. So that is absolutely fantastic. And of course, Martin, he's upgraded his membership, so we're all winning this evening. Happy days. Right, like I say, lots to get through. So it's now time to do this.
Give your head a wobble.
Yes, it's time once again for Give Your Head a Wobble. That's right. We have been going through the social media channels. We've been trying to find some right little nuggets for you for this week. We're going to have to keep it short and sweet, though, tonight, because we have got so much to get through. But we do know that you people love a bit of Give Your Head a Wobble. So we're going to start with the Wigan Warriors. This is a surprise for many, I'm sure. But we're going to start with the Wigan Warriors and Paul Hornby. Paul Hornby, take a bow, sir. How long are Wigan going to carry Farrell for? It's like playing with 12 men every week. No place for sentiment. Right, okay. Here we go. For all our Robins fans out there, don't take them. Now, look, we say this every week, disclaimer. We know that Paul is in the 1% minority of your club support. We know that. 99% of you are sensible people. Right, but as Paul's gone there, we're going to go there. Now, the Robins fans, just do me a favour. Just pop it in the chat. How undroppable is Dean Hadley at the Robins? Well, I know our Robins fans love a bit of Dean Hadley. I know they do. But here we go. Robins fans would class Dean Hadley as undroppable, a player that they revere, that they absolutely love. Let's get into some detail, shall we? Both of these two players have played all 11 games. Farrell's 34, Hadley's 31, so he's got 3 years less in his legs as Mr. Hadley. Farrell's had 2 tries and 2 assists. Hadley's had 1 try and no assists. Liam Farrell's had 12 tackle busts and 1 clean break. Dean Hadley's had 10 tackle busts and 2. Liam Farrell has made 401 tackles this season at a 95% tackle efficiency. Dean Hadley's made 356 at 94. He's carried the ball, Mr. Farrell, for 122 occasions, making 867 metres, whereas Dean has carried it for 110 at 707. Now, don't get me wrong. Those stats are good by Mr. Hadley. but Farrell's are better. The difference between Cherry and White and the Robins, they love their players. Cherry and White's getting on the back of one of the most decorated players in your club's history. And he's still doing it at 34 while you're sat on a chair drinking beers and having hamburgers.
And Dave would still walk into most Super League teams.
Absolutely. And look, Hadley is class, but Farrell is outperforming Hadley. So if we're going to say Hadley's class, how can anybody in a Wigan shirt say that they're carrying Farrell with statistics of that magnitude? And people say, yeah, but he's making loads of errors. He's made 7. Jog on. Right, okie dokie. Always good fun. Right, let's go to whoever BP is on the internet.
They make petrol. They make petrol.
Well, yeah, they do. Well, I'll tell you what, at least this guy's good at something. Right, BP on Facebook. I'm always skeptical when it's initials on Facebook, not real names. But then again, I don't think this guy would want to give his real name, because you are a boil on the butt of rugby league. Because when it was announced that Matty Ashton was injured, he said, lovely stuff. Give your head a wobble. We want our best players on the field. You're not a rugby fan. I don't care what anybody says. Jog on, sir. Right, we now move over. I'm on one tonight with these give me head a wobbles. I'm not very happy, as you can say. Right, here we go. This is a beauty, this one. I really like this one. So Joel, Saints did a number on Catalan. Who would you hold responsible for that win?
I think it's got to be Lomax, isn't it?
You're going Johnny Lomax. Steph, who would you say orchestrated that win for the
Whitby by mile.
Whitby by mile, yeah. Greg, anybody else you want to throw in the mix, mate? In terms
of
Whitby,
Lomax together were brilliant. Wellesby had a great game.
Well, B. Meccano, I think he should carry on doing his sets on the carpet, quite frankly. He said,
carpet, Dave.
He said his Meccano sets. Make no mistake about why the response was last night, because the loyal supporters turned and demanded better. They confronted the players and said, this is not good enough. Behave yourself.
He's got his own trumpet in for blowing.
Unbelievable.
They obviously sang "Oh When the Saints Go Marching In" one more time than they usually did.
Oh, mate. R.B. Meccano there. It's all about him getting the dugout, son. Getting the dugout. Absolute class. Now, have we got a couple more left? Yes, we have got a couple more left. Next one, Hull FC. Hull FC. Boys, I would say potentially game of the round against Leeds. I mean, the Wigan Leigh one was good as well. Potentially. Out of 10, Joel, what would you give Hull FC this season thus far based on where you thought they'd be?
Oh, just, 8/9.
8/9. Steph?
Yeah, obviously a little bit of a slump so far recently, but I'd still give them an 8 based on what we thought they'd be.
Fantastic. What about you, Greg?
Yeah, I agree. 8.5.
I am concurring. It's like we're a juror here. We're in the, we're the jury, and we're all in togetherness. Let's be fair. He plays some sparkling rugby league as well. Rugby league, and you'd expect the FC fans to be really, really pleased. But Seb Webber, he has said off the back of a great game of rugby league that they were garbage, and they've got bottom 4 written all over them. That's the thanks that those players get for really turning on the style thus far in Super League. On behalf of all of your black and white faithful,
what do they want? What do these fans want?
I haven't got a Scooby-Doo, mate. But I tell you what, Chris Waywell wants at the Warrington Wolves. Unbelievable. Now, Greg, why did Warrington lose at Wakefield?
Well, Wakefield wanted it more. We had quite a few injuries, but we can't use that as an excuse. Wakefield wanted it more. We were out of sorts. All sorts of things came together. It just wasn't our day. Wakefield's a bogey ground for us. Wakefield have beaten us home this season. 6 years ago, the last time we won at Wakefield. People forget that.
2019, mate.
2019,
aggregate score this season: 70 points to 26. Wakefield were outstanding. Yeah,
there's lots of factors why Warrington lost that game.
Fabulous.
Wakefield wanted it more, deserved it more.
Fantastic. Steph, would you like to limp in? Why do you think Wakefield won that game?
I think that Warrington's defence was very, very poor at times.
Yeah.
But Wakefield were absolutely outstanding, and no more so than Fertilli again, who had another outstanding game.
Yeah,
and Mason Lino was outstanding as well for them.
Indeed, Joe.
Yeah, not as much cohesion as the previous weeks. Just open gates in defence. Sometimes like a turnstile.
Absolutely, couldn't agree with you more. But Chris Waywell put the loss down to the awful shirt we were wearing, and we should bring back the green one.
Listen, you might laugh, but my youngest went, "Oh no, we're wearing that kit. We're going to lose today." There's obviously something in it.
Mate, Alex Ferguson, all is forgiven.
They weren't having a purple patch, were they?
Oh, hey. Tell you what, I like that. Anyway, it's all going off now. But no, honestly, you just couldn't. I mean, the members are loving it in the chat. Look, we're only having a bit of fun. Don't take it personally. And Chris, come to the Bluebell on Friday. Come and have a drink with us, mate. It's all jovial. It's all good fun. And
put your away shirt on.
Yeah, put your green shirt on so we know where you are. Anyway, with that, it's now time for this.
Yeah, just a quick account of what happened at the weekend from me tonight. I seem to be starting these reports like this every week, but I've got to say it again. What a fantastic performance by Wigan Warriors. They beat York Valkyrie 40 points to 6. The reigning champions just had no answer to the pace of the home side at the Brick Stadium. They were 28-0 down at half time. Let's hope that encourages more fans of the men's game to go down and watch next time there's a double header on at the ground, because it really was a great advert for the giant steps that Wigan Warriors women's team have taken over the last few seasons. Also, a big shout out to Leigh Leopards, who are second in the table. They beat Barrow Raiders 42-10 at Leigh Sports Village. Leigh, the Barrow struggled a little bit last season, probably going to struggle this season as well. But I think it's great to see these two teams at the top of the table, because it reflects the hard work that's going on behind the scenes there to promote the women's game, to bring them up to the, not quite to bring them up to the men's level with the facilities and the training that they're giving them. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Game of the weekend, though, has got to be the Saints game against Leeds at the Totally Wicked Stadium. Ended in a 20-all draw. Vicky Whitfield's late try, drawing the home side level. Rhinos thought they'd won it. They'd opened up a 10-point lead late on, but to quote the much missed on Sky Sports commentary, Eddie Hemmings, no, I'm not going to go there. And finally, quite a brave Warrington performance on Sunday. I'm a little bit biased in that respect, but I thought they showed a lot of grit, a lot of determination, a lot of resilience, something that was missing towards the end of last season. They went down 30-40 to Huddersfield Giants at the Halliwell Jones. But new signing Gracie Bradshaw, she made a debut for the Wire. She was on debut. And, what a player she's going to be. She made some great runs. She looks a fantastic prospect. And at the end of the day, it was a costly sin binning for winger Kerry Evans halfway through the second half that really kind of sealed Warrington's fate. Huddersfield pulled away. I mean, it was an all-in brawl in the middle of the pitch. It was a throwback to the 80s. It was fantastic to watch, if I can say that. But on a final note, it's great to see that all 4 games were played in stadiums this weekend. Now what we need is for people to get behind it, fans of the men's game, supporters of the clubs to get behind the women's game, start filling the stadiums in earlier, drop a couple of pints in the pub, but not the Bluebell, clearly, and get to the ground to watch the women play. And I tell you what, you're not going to be disappointed. You're really not. So that's my roundup of the first round of Women's Super League this weekend. So if you watched it, hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, get down and watch some Women's Super League over the next few weeks. You will really, really enjoy it, I promise you.
Yes, well done, Reg. You have to say, Wigan Warriors, wow. Dennis Betts has got them firing. I mean, they destroyed Leeds in the Challenge Cup. They've now destroyed York Valkyrie. I'm certainly thinking that Wigan could potentially win the Challenge Cup.
I did tip them. I tipped them at the start that I said that silverware is not beyond them this season. I said the Challenge Cup is probably the best chance. I don't think they've got it there just yet to win Super League. They might prove me wrong, but I definitely think they've got a great chance of winning the Challenge Cup, and I'm still tipping them to win the Challenge Cup.
Yes, the fixtures there going down below the screen. York Valkyrie taking on Leeds Rhinos this weekend as well. Where's that being played? Is that being played at York? Do we know?
I think it will be. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. I'll have to check.
To be fair, they tend to play most of their games at the York Stadium, don't they? So get yourselves down there, and that's a must-win now for both of those two.
Yeah, and get yourself to Leigh Leopards versus Warrington Wolves.
Indeed.
The Sports Village. That's going to be an interesting game. Lots of former Warrington players in that Leigh team.
Absolutely. Right. Okay. It's that time of the week again where you can, pull up your feet, get yourself your favourite drink and tipple and listen to the dulcet tones of myself doing the best team of the week that you're probably going to hear this week. As you know, loads of science goes into this. And all I would say to you, and I think you'll know why, try not to fall asleep this week.
Team of the Week is sponsored by The Good Estate Agent. With an average turnaround time of 3 weeks, if you want your house sold quickly, then contact Stefan today on 01942 356 577. Quote Super League Raw for 33% off. It's the Super League Raw Team of the Week for round 11 with the Good Estate Agent for 2025. Here we go again, and at fullback is the hat-trick hero, Tex Hoy. Salford Reds are falling down. The table, well, they're actually at rock bottom. Do you smell what the Hoy is cooking? At 2 is Joe Burgess, whose wheel on his boots went round and round all day long. And what acceleration for his second try of the game. The horn on his boots went beep, 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 just like Roadrunner. Beep, beep. At 3 is Jake Ward of the Wigan Warriors, despite his nose being reminiscent of Humpty Dumpty's after his great fall. His efforts were so clinical, it will take all the King's horses and all the King's men to put the Be the Roarers back together again. At 4 is Ash Hanley, who was as elegant as a fair maid rowing a boat gently down that left edge to lay the platform for Leeds' sensational win over the Black and Whites. It's fair to say that their stream has become a little choppier. And speaking of boats, at 5 is Tristan Saylor, who went to Saints to see if he could play, but all that we can see is Sailor on the wing with glee. At 6 is Magic Mikey Lewis. Singer-songer Mikey, a pocket full of tries. The only team to tame him, well, they eat all the pies. If he beats Wigan, the Robins will sing. Who needs Bevan French as Mikey is the king? At 7 is young sensation and hat-trick hero George Whitby. He made the Dragons look like a collection of blind mice who run this way and that from Whitby's carving knife. Did you ever see such a sight? At 8 is the fast-becoming Wakey hero of the season and keeping his place week on week, Caius Fatelli, who made Sam Burgess feel like he was old MacDonald the farmer with some horses on his farm, as this was a nay here and a nay there performance from the wire, thanks to Caius. At 9 is Edwin Ipapi of the Leigh Leopards. Hey diddle, Ipapi played Wigan like a fiddle, and yes, the Be the Roarers were over the moon, but Warriors laughed to see such a sport, and Petey ran away with the 2 points. At 10 is Big Alex Walmsley once again, who is like the grand old Duke of Saints. He's played with so many men, he continues to march them up to the table, but will they come down again? At 11 is Josh Griffin, who rang a ring of roses around the wire, who all fell down in a shambolic defensive performance at the hands of the Griff. A tissue, I hear you all. At 12 is Ethan O'Neill of the Leigh Leopards, who continues to shine. You could say he's a twinkle, twinkle little star, with other supporters wondering how their recruitment missed out on such a brilliant star. Oh yes, talk about a diamond. Go on, Ethan boy. And finally, at 13 is Cade Ellis, whose moment of the game could be described as little Oli had lost their defenders and Lamb did not know where to find them. Ellis touched down as the Leopards they found, leaving their 2 points behind them. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a nursery rhyme team of the week for round 11. Nothing beats the Super League Raw Team of the Week, boys. What do we make of that?
Childish, Dave, childish.
Shocking. But yes, outstanding fair. This never done nursery rhymes before. That's one for the purists. Joel, enjoyed that, did you, sir?
That was wonderful. It wasn't just a comment about The Rock. It was like it was inspired by The Rock. So you are now Mr. David The Rock Kane. Yeah, it's good to see Rory in there. That was good.
Yeah, absolutely. Rory's playing really well, mate. Really well, thanks. Really well. Yeah, he is. Right, let's get serious. That's our team of the week. Boys, I think that's about right, if I'm being honest. I noticed in the official one that Bevan French got in there, Callum Watkins got in there. Not so sure personally on those two. I'm trying to think who was in second row as well. It wasn't Ethan O'Neill. But I'll stand by that team. I will absolutely stand by it. A couple who are a bit unfortunate. Jai Field's unfortunate. Jez Litton's unfortunate.
Yeah.
There's a couple. But
Jez Litton played well at the weekend.
Yeah. Sorry, Ryan Hall as well. Ryan Hall got in the official one. I mean, what nonsense. Great try. Decisive try, but wasn't as good as Burgess and Saylor. Steph, your thoughts?
Well, people don't realise that we use that segment to go and get a drink. So I was like the little train that could go and get in my beers then. No, brilliant team of the week, and the biggest performance for me was Whitby. I think I'm so impressed by that lad, and we mentioned it on the roundup pack, but not only for his performance, but his performance off the field in front of the cameras for such a young lad. I thought he came across exceptional, and I think most fans of rugby league will be willing this lad to become an absolute superstar because he just seems like such a lovely lad as well, which is great. But yeah, for Tilly, what more can you say about him? Another one that's been found out of the New South Wales Cup, completely unknown to everyone, and has burst onto the scene Tom Amone-esque his performances so far. So brilliant to see. And your mate Tex Argy, Dave, continuing. He's got that picture of you up in the changing rooms. I mean, it's usually inspiration.
I've always liked Tex. Always liked him. You know, it wasn't that I was criticising him; I was motivating him, and it's great to see that he's took the constructive criticism on board. He's been absolutely exceptional ever since I had that chat with him. It's incredible. Greg, your thoughts on the team of the week, mate?
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't have the little lamb in there, I must admit. But, you know, no, it's good to see Tristan Saylor. He's obviously found his kind of place in the team. He's you know what? Fair play to him. He could have spat his dummy out. He could have thrown his toys out the pram, but he's not. He's been given that position. Obviously, it's down to injury that he's there. But, you know, he could have not taken it as a kind of a a hit on him, but he's not. He's actually said, all right, then I'll prove that I'm worth a place in this team. He's playing really well on the wing. He played really well on the wing. And I'm delighted for him because he took a lot of pelters during that run for Saints.
It was a lovely step past Smith.
Yeah, fair play to him. He showed a right turn of pace.
Well, he's quick. We know he's quick. But there you go. Joel, final word on this to you. Anybody else you want to talk about in that team?
Yeah, two players actually that really shone for me this week was, of course, we know Whitby was fantastic. We don't want to labour that point too much, but Texai was fantastic, and I think with Texai it just shows, doesn't it, that it doesn't matter what club you're at. You know that there is. We questioned, didn't we? And was it not last year, the year before? Has he got it? Is he a player? And we wasn't quite sure. Gone to Cass and realised that he's the real deal. He was just at the wrong club. And Joe Burgess, my word, he was unbelievable. And he was running right down the line now where I was sat. So it was quite incredible to watch him at full flight. It was really impressive.
Yeah, I see that Carl in the chat on about Eckersley. Great to hear that Eckersley's recovering well, as is Jordan Rapana. Our thoughts and best wishes go to them. I won't ask Steph because he's a Leigh Leopards fan, so as a neutral, I'll just say it as it is. Leigh Leopards fans got a bit of grief off the Wigan fans for singing during that injury.
I'm pretty confident that once he was being stretchered off, they all stood and applauded him off like every rugby league fan does. And when you actually see his own teammates in a huddle laughing and joking, I don't think you can actually pour scorn on Leigh Leopards fans who are there to support the team and showed the utmost respect for the lad when he was stretchered off. So I think that was a bit of nonsense, quite frankly. I just thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah, you're quite right there, Dave. Quite right.
A bit of nonsense. Don't take cheap shots at each other. One thing about rugby league fans is we don't like to see players injured, unlike BP with Matty Ashton. And we always, regardless of colour and creed, we always stand and applaud any gladiator as they leave the arena on a stretcher. That is just what we do. Right, okie dokie. Now it's time for this.
Ooh, pass me a cucumber sandwich.
Yes, it's that time again where we go and have a little look and see what's going on in the Albert Goldthorpe medal table. Let's start with the Leeds Rhinos taking on Hull FC. Great game. Ash Hanley got 3 points. I gave Ash Hanley the 3 points. Got no issue with that. No issue with that at all. 2 points. Any ideas? Who else shone in the Leeds FC game? Anybody want to fire some names out who shone in that game?
Brodie Croft.
Croft had a good game.
Lum.
I've got to admit, I've not watched a lot of rugby this weekend because of various circumstances. So
okay, I mean there was a few. I mean Watkins had a good game. McDonald had a good game. I thought he played. Miller had his usual good game. He had his usual good game. Did Miller? Asiata was very, very good for Hull FC. As too was Liam Knight. 2 for Cade Cust. Didn't see that. Sorry, but but the one that I definitely didn't see was 1 point to Zach Hardacre. Didn't see that. Didn't see that at all. Wow. Just simply wow. You know, let's just call it what it is. Wow. Right, let's go to the Huddersfield Giants KR game. Who shone? Who shone, boys? Who shone?
Tanganoa.
You going Tanganoa?
Lit him. Lit a good game.
Right, okay. Have you watched it back, Joel?
No.
No, okay. So in the stadium, maybe, but no. They actually gave Tanganoa 3 points. Tanganoa wasn't man at the match. No way.
He had a decent game.
He had a decent game, but he wasn't man at the match. That I found a little bit odd. Burgess, Lewis, I think were better. I thought Morg was better.
Morg had a decent game, yeah.
Tanganoa did 14 tackles and carried the ball for less than 100 metres and had a little, and basically just had to put the ball over the line. Well, I'm being harsh there. He had a good game.
He impressed me, to be fair.
Yeah, he had a good game, but for me, he wasn't man of the match. I think that's a bit out. Just a personal opinion. As always, the loving for Jack Wellesby. He got 2 points for the Saints in probably his least effective game of the season. Stats were well down on what he normally does. Found that very odd. Found that very, very odd indeed. But that's about it, I think. I can't.
It's lazy journalism.
It is lazy journalism. The Wigan League game. Give me some names. Who should be getting 3, 2, and 1 at Leigh Wigan?
Jai Field.
Mm-hmm. He got man of the match off him. He got 3.
Wardle. Tessie New, Ipape.
Ipape was. I thought Ipape was the player of the game. I've got to be honest. If he'd have been on the winning side, he'd have walked it.
He got ours.
Leigh, he was absolutely tremendous.
Yeah,
absolutely outstanding. Ipape.
Yeah, he got ours, but somebody in their wisdom decided that 2 points went to Adam Kieran, who fell over the line after getting a great pass from Bevan French, and of his 7 kicks, only kicked 4. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I think I put in the WhatsApp chat on the night of the game that Ipape was absolute. Everything that Leigh did well came from Ipape. He was just magnificent.
Yeah,
it's very rarely I've seen such a brilliant display in defeat. To be honest,
Yeah. Cine was good for Cash, you're right. They did give 2 points, as did we for Cine. Obviously, Hoy was man of the match, but yeah, Cine was his best game for Cass. Aidan, completely agree. And Dawn Baker giving raps to Owen Trout, absolutely. He was.
Owen Trout was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was very, very good. Very, very good. It's fair to say that he came to shore in this game. Right, okie dokie. It's now time to unleash the big fella. It's time for this.
This is Joel Scholes with your Fantasy League update. Let's see who the movers and shakers are for this week.
Oh, don't know why I'm there, Joel. It should be you. There you go.
There we go. It's good to be back in the league again this week. See who's now really making strides as we're heading towards the halfway point, nearish the halfway point anyway. So with 66 points was Lockie Miller, and then Handley had 62 points with McDonald at 85, Burgess with 76, and Marshall with 61. And then in the halves we got Lewis with 93 and Whitby with 89 points. So this won't be a surprise that he's going to probably be getting some good points this season moving forward, because he's obviously playing really well. And then we've got Ellis with 77, O'Neill with 83, Griffin with 74, Varney with 54 points, Walmsley with 73, and O'Connor with 67 points. So that were the top performers for this week. As regards the podium, we've got Alan Bagley now with the merchandise, Super League Raw merchandise. He had a very good week, Alan Bagley. In fact, I think he was the highest point scorer, which, well, now I've said that, I might as well tell you, because I've got it here. He scored 838 points this week, so that was massive effort. So well done. Then we've got Stuart Scaife in second with his replica shirt, and Neil Ormston once again got his hand on a season ticket for next year. So really well done, and hopefully you can be fighting for them positions still. And then we're going to look at the top 10. So we've got, as we've seen, first, second, and third, Neil, Stuart, and Alan. And then in fourth, we've got David Moore. Fifth, we've got Alan Bagley. Sixth, we've got Neil Ormston again. Seventh, Liam Cannon. Eighth, Steve Richardson. Ninth, Stephen Broomfield. And 10th, David Windus. So that's your top 10 for this week. And as we mentioned, Alan Bagley had a really good week. And I think that's it for me.
Happy days, mate. Superb. So that's shaping up quite nicely. Well done, Mr. Scholes. Let's, I like to be on the top left. It's just, the OCD, outstanding. Steffi's still banging his cupboards in the background there, so he's enjoying his little self. Right, okie dokie. Right, we've already done that. Right, let's go to the prediction league. Here it is, and it's the members. The members top the prediction lead, 161 points. Greg is second with 157. Then it's the non-members, 148. Then Steph has overtook myself. He's gone up to 140. Joel, 2 weeks on the bounce, top scorer. He is on the march, is Joel Scholes, 136, overtaking me by a point, which means that Earl is bottom on 132. For the first time this season, Mr. Scholes, you can give Earl a ring and have the bragging rights over Mr. Crabtree. Do get over to the website, get involved. If you're a non-member, all the predictions are there. Go into the news section of our website. It's multiple choice. It'll only take you a couple of minutes. Get involved in the prediction league. And of course, the members have got the predictions in the WhatsApp group. They go live every Sunday. Make sure you get them in. Right, okay, this is Super League. After 11 rounds, the Robins sitting pretty 2 points clear of the Wigan Warriors. Then it's the Leopards in third, just 1 point now ahead of the Rhinos, of course, having gone down to the Warriors, but they're still in third. Then it's Saints fifth. That man, Paul Wellens, he's doing a terrible job. He's in the playoff places. Trinity, Darryl Powell is sixth. Fantastic. And I think all of us would say up the Trin. Wonderful to see Wakefield Trinity making the mark, God bless them. Outstanding stuff. FC drop out the top 6. That's got to hurt the Black and White Brigade. Then the Dragons, then the Wolves. Tigers now up to 6 points with the Giants and the Red Devils on 2. Right, what a start to the festivities this week. Don't forget, the captain's run is going to be on Thursday. That is now free to wear for everybody. It's great. Deep dive analysis into these games. We do high level on weekly. We get right down and dirty on the captain's run. Make sure you tune in on Thursday. Most people who are watching the game on TV tune in at 6. We take them pretty much right the way up to the Sky broadcast. And it really does set the tone for the weekend that's ahead. To do join us for the captain's run with special guest Bazza Kingston this week. Right, okay. Leigh Leopards taking on Hull FC. Let's get the teams up because they've already been announced. And wonderful news if you're a Be the Roarer, as big Frankie Holton returns to second row. Potentially the defender machine himself is back in the 21-man squad. I normally go to Steph last, but I will go to him first because you will be delighted that big Frankie is back. And you remember him, don't you, Steph?
I do. Will you remember me, though?
Well, I don't know.
Completely off piece, that as well. I'm amazed at myself with that speed. No, yeah, really big plus for Leigh getting Frankie back if he is back in the actual starting lineup this week. Our top tackler last season, so he brings a lot to Leigh's side. But I'm really looking forward to this game. I think two very evenly matched sides, obviously 22-22 at the MKM earlier this season. A lot riding on this game as well. Leigh could, lose that third position if we lose. Hull FC could move back into the playoffs if they win. So yeah, it's going to be a real humdinger, this one. And then we've not even talked about the returning players to Leigh. Your Asiatas, Hardacre, Chamberlain. It's got storylines written all over this one. But one thing's for sure, I'm sure the Leigh fans will give those players the welcome they deserve back to the Sports Village, because no matter what, all those players brought a Challenge Cup back to Leigh. So Leigh fans, I hope we will do those players proud and clap them when they come off the field at the end of the game.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He'll hold people down and he'll run around. He'll never know how much you love him. R.R. Frankie Holton, God bless him. But yeah, you're right. And actually, Steph, it's a really good point, actually, in the fact that, when the Warrington players went over to Leigh, it added a bit of spice. Those lads that went over to Leigh weren't happy about it, and it gave him a bit of steel. The chances are some of these lads that are now at FC will have the same where Leigh are concerned. They'll have, a bit of a point to prove that they shouldn't have perhaps been moved on, and it'll give them a little bit of impetus, and that's going to be interesting to see. Greg, this is a great game of rugby league to start the weekend festivities. Obviously, Hull FC on the slide. It's vitally important that they turn the tide. Do you think it'll be at the LSV on Thursday night?
I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I don't think they will, to be honest. I think they've had a great start to the season. But I just think Leigh, I've got just the edge. I'm going to go Leigh 9-17.
Leigh 9-17. Joel, what's your take on the game?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to form and consistency here. And unfortunately, Hull FC have been consistently not that great over the past couple of weeks. And when I say not that great, I mean, it's been losses. You can play as well as you want, but if you're not going to win, it doesn't really count for much. So I do fear for FC on this one, just because of how high Leigh are riding and how well they're playing. And with some potential returnees, I think it might be just a little bit too much. So with everything into consideration, I've gone Leigh 9-17.
Yeah, absolutely. Steph, forgive me, mate. Did you give us your prediction there?
No.
Go on, mate.
Well, I was going to say, my main point on this one is obviously still no David Armstrong, which so we're more than likely going to see Bailey Hodgson at fullback as well, which I don't think is a downgrade at the moment. I think Bailey Hodgson's playing phenomenally well. Obviously, the big gap is no Gaz O'Brien, obviously failing that HIA. But I do feel that Ben McNamara, when he came on against Wigan, was outstanding. And maybe he'd be playing in front of his director of rugby dad. Who knows? But no, I think I'm hoping home advantage gets us over the line here on a Thursday night, and I'm going to go 9-17, Leigh.
9-17, Leigh. I mean, all I would say to Ben, whatever you do, when you go around for Christmas dinner, don't take the potatoes in a sack. Don't do it. You know what I mean? You contribute to your dad's downfall, son. Don't do it. I think that'd be a really bad joke on your part, Ben. Don't go there, son. He'll still sting him. It will sting him that you did that to him. Has to. Anyway, yeah, I think it's a cracking game. Absolutely fantastic game of rugby league, this one. I just think it's got everything. It's got absolutely everything. It's going to be a belting game. I think looking at the two sides, I know what you're saying about Armstrong at the moment, though. I'll be honest with you, Steph, and this is going to take a few people by surprise. Based on what we've seen thus far this season, I think Bailey Hodgson at the moment is a bit of a sure bet, bit more of a sure bet. I think he's, even when Armstrong comes back, he'll probably come back. Of course, he probably will, but I feel for Bailey Hodgson if he gets dropped. I really do, because he's playing some wonderful rugby league for such a young player. It's been a privilege to watch him this season. I think that Leigh's squad's in better nick. I think the loss of Rapana, because he brings leadership and, you know, he brings that cut and thrust that we already know that, you know, FC are struggling in those back row forwards as well, with the deputising of the likes of Hardacre and Chamberlain having to go in there and do a shift. And I just think that, you know, Leigh just look a bit more solid. We'll get into this on captain's run, but I'm going Leigh 9-17. Bailey Hodgson is on fire, says John. Boys, John again. He's enjoying his night with Super League Raw. He's John. Good to see you, mate. Carla Collier, she's gone Leigh 1-8. There's a surprise. Carla's gone Leigh 18 plus. Penthorne Leigh 1-8. Aidan Simpson. Too many ex-League players at FC. Well, he's having a go at Ian. Ian is has he actually given us a prediction, Ian? Or
He said Leigh were vulnerable after losing a semi-final in a local derby.
He's going 9-17 to Hull, I think he said.
Has he? Fair enough. Martin Houst, he's got FC 1-8. Leigh 9-17. Tom Messer, good evening, Tom. No Frankie, no party. Absolutely. Get the disco balls out. Hey, by all accounts, he's got a good sister. Her name's Sledge. Anyway, Leigh 9-17 for Aidan Sims and Garibo FC 1-8. Yeah, I mean, most easy meat. Ian has even put on. He's obviously going to enjoy the beverages and the you know, the kiosks,
the pies.
Yeah, the pies, and it must be good burgers at Leigh. Ian's looking forward to tasting them, clearly. John Wilson gone Leigh 9-17. Yeah, a lot more love for Leigh than there is FC, and I think that's understandable. The table doesn't lie. Leigh, even though they've been beaten a couple of times, look, you know, they were beaten in a war of attrition in both games. Yeah, I think Leigh should be okay. They should be okay, but hey, it's one of those seasons where it's been all over the place. Right, we now come to Joel's Huddersfield Giants against the mighty Saints. The Saints, all is forgiven. They're back. They're absolutely back of the Saints. Oh, yes, outstanding. The Giants, of course, getting the players back. Joel, we have to do this because it's the Giants. Any injury concerns over and above what we already know about? Are you hearing anything on the wing, mate?
No, all good. Yeah, all good. In fact, we will most likely be having a returnee of Mr. Tui Lillahea. Not sure if that's going to be a good thing or not. As you know, I do love Tui.
He's been on form, hasn't
he? He has, and I think he'd admit that himself. What you get with Tui is, you know, you've got to expect that he's going to make some mistakes, but he also can come up with them, try winning, game winning tries. So, you know, if he's going to come back, which I think he'll come back better with having Clune as his 7, it's less pressure on Tui, and hopefully Tui then can focus on doing what he does best and not having to try and rally the team together, because he can leave Clooney to do that.
Yeah, happy days. So that'll be a bonus though, because at least he's back in the mix, isn't it? And competition for places is never a bad thing. Greg, we've been saying this for the last few weeks. Huddersfield are a different proposition now than they have been in the first 10 rounds. Yes, they got well beaten, but it was Hull KR. Hull KR in sparkling form. Saints aren't. Saints are up and down a little bit. If you're Joel, do you get a little excited by this? Do you think there's a potential for Huddersfield to pick up the points here?
Well, from what I've seen of Huddersfield so far this season, that they've been a team in most games, not all games, that have put a good account in, especially first half, and kind of fallen short. And, Joel's got every right to be optimistic about this, but I think Saints, they're doing so. Wellens is such a poor coach, and they're doing so dreadfully bad this season in the top six, and stringing wins together. But it's all down to the fans, apparently. If they're losing, they'll bring a couple of fans on, and they'll get them going. Not being, forgive my sarcasm. I think this is going to be one of those games again. I think Joel can be optimistic. But I ultimately think that this is one of those games where Giants will play really, really well. They've got some bodies back, and they'll give a good account of themselves. But I think Saints will pull away towards the end of the game. I think this has been Giants' biggest problem all season, from what I've seen. I'm sure Joel will disagree if he thinks I'm wrong. But from what I've seen of Giants, they've acquitted themselves really well in most games. At Magic Weekend, they were superb. But they just seem to fall away when it matters in games. And I'm sorry, Joel, and I'm sure Huddersfield fans will be having a street party when they hear my prediction. But I think that Saints are going to win this, and are going to win this 18+. But it's not going to be the drubbing that sounds like. I think for maybe 50, 60 minutes, it's going to be quite close, and then Saints will pull away at the end of the game.
So you're saying it's KR Mark 2?
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Steph, your thoughts, mate?
I couldn't disagree more. I think it's one thing for Saints doing it at home against that side. I think Saints are going to go into this really confident, and I think if they stick with the same selection and keep Sailor on the wing, which I think they will, why change something that works so well against Catalan? They'll go into it really confident. But I also think Huddersfield are going to it really confident. And as daft as it sounds, coming off a big defeat on paper at KR for 60 minutes, Huddersfield were exceptional in that game, and more so in defence as well, keeping an excellent Hull KR side to 4 points at their own place for so long was a phenomenal defensive effort. Saints are nowhere near as good as Hull KR at the moment. So I see this being a very, very close game. I am going to go Saints. I think it's just still one game too far for Huddersfield. But I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people think, and I'm going Saints 1-8.
1-8. You're seeing a tight game. Joel, your take, score?
If Huddersfield were to pull off a win, and if and how, it would do wonders for the club, for the fans, for Ken. I think it would show intent that we have some intent for the rest of the season, that we're not willing to just, let the first half of the season define who we are. Though I don't see it going that way. I do see a Saints win, and that's that's based off personnel and form and everything. I was very encouraged by what I saw at the weekend. Like I said in Baz's video, when you're doing repeat set after repeat set after repeat set, which we did all game long, your defence is going to tire out. And I remember Steph saying last week that we were going to be in there for the first 60 minutes, and man, we were in there. In fact, there was many opportunities to score a try. That's our problem, though. We can't attack. So does Tui coming back help us with that? Does it complement George Flanagan? I don't know. I'm going for a Saints 9-17 because, once again, we're going to hold them, I think, very well most of the game. But they're going to run us back. But I don't see an 18+ just because they're not KR. Nowhere near. And if we can hold KR at KR to 4 points with like 15 minutes to go, then surely we can hold Saints back for a bit longer.
I hope you're right, Joel. I really do hope you're right on that one, mate.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting game. Friday night, 8 p.m. Sky Super League Plus. A lot of love for Saints in the chat, but there are a couple that are going the way of the Giants. Martin House, he's gone Giants 1-8. I know Dawn Baker has gone the same. She's gone the way of the Giants. Andy Bevan, Giants 9-17. Wow.
I met Andy.
Yeah, wow.
A few Wigan fans in there, I think.
Yeah, Carl Giants 1-8. Actually, a lot of these are FC and KR fans that are going the way of the Giants. I just think that's a massive win for Saints last week. I really do, and I think if they were going up against a Huddersfield Giants team that had strung a couple of wins together, I'd have probably been more tempted to go Giants. But because the Giants, they've got one win this season, and the players for me need a couple of weeks. I think Steph said that. I think they just need a couple of weeks just to bed themselves in, get the combinations going, find the feet. I mean, really, Huddersfield's season starts now, and look how but it's fair. I mean, the exception this year was the Leigh Wigan game. It was an exceptional game for round one, but most of the time you see a pretty poor standard of rugby league for the first one or two rounds, and then it starts to kick in. That's where Huddersfield is. The round one, the round two, because these players haven't played together all season, and it's for that reason. Even though Saints have been up and down, they've got more miles in the tank. They've done more of the hard meters, and that's why I'm going to go Saints 9-17 on this one. But I do wish me old mucker all the very, very best, right? And
Joel, if Huddersfield win, I'll let you jet wash my patio for free.
No, there you go. That's very kind.
I'm sure you would.
Well, if you thought that was painful, Joel, this is going to be very painful. Warrington against KR. I mean, it should be a massive game. Look, Warrington. They showed up against Wigan. They showed up against Leeds. They didn't show up against Wakefield, and I'm taking nothing away from Wakefield. Wakefield were magnificent and deserved to win that game. But I'm going to say this. Teams that aren't, dare I say it, at the top of their game, who are, none of us would fancy Warrington for the grand final. Many people will be surprised Warrington in the Challenge Cup final the way they've been playing. Teams like Warrington get up for big teams. We see this in all sports. Lackluster sides, but they muster. And people say it's a cheating the fans' job, but it's a bit, for me, it's a bit telling that some of Warrington's better performances this season have been against so-called bigger sides, and some of their worst performances have been against the bottom six. And that, for me, is a mentality issue. That's an attitude issue. So the one shining light here for Warrington is they're coming up against the League Leaders Shield elect. And if that doesn't motivate, then what does? So that's my intro into this. Joel, how do you see it?
Well, first of all, if you don't mind me saying, Dave, that I got the pleasure of meeting this very lovely young KR fan called Elliot, who actually said that he was going to be watching the show tonight. So good evening. And he also predicted the Huddersfield score exactly. He said 34 points. So hopefully we might do in the few years to come, see him predicting on the show with us, maybe, possibly, because if he can predict scores like that, very well done. Lovely to see everybody down at Hull KR. It was absolutely wonderful. Hospitality is always top notch down there, and what a great stadium it is. So I've got down here KR 9-17, and it's just because Warrington's been a bit up and down. Some weeks it's fantastic, some weeks it's not that great. I've just got to be honest. Hull KR are just red hot, and that's why I've got the score there. Warrington have got a very good squad, littered with an injury crisis at the moment. We understand that, but you've definitely got the people in there to not be an 18 plus. But KR are just unbelievable, and I just really can't see it going any other way at the moment.
Fair enough. So you're going KR 9-17. Steph, your view on the game?
Yeah, it should be an absolute cracker, this one, and I think your observations, Dave, are spot on in terms of Warrington raising the game for the bigger teams and really underperforming against the perceived lower teams. So I think they're going to be really up for this wire. I think Sam's going to he'll put the fear of God into that team, I reckon, this week in terms of that performance they served up at Wakefield, and I'm expecting a big response, and also at home as well. It should be a really good crowd at Warrington this on Friday night under the lights. The atmosphere should be fantastic, and I think it's going to be close for 60 minutes. But I just think KR are just too good at the moment. I just think they're too good, and I'm going for a 9-17. But I do think there'll only be a couple of points in it up till 60 minutes, and then I expect KR to kick on and just put Warrington to the side in them last few minutes.
Absolutely, Greg.
Yeah, JWH will be a big miss for Hull KR, but we've got injury problems of our own to kind of think about. I agree with the guys. I think Warrington are. If you're floundering near the bottom of the league and you're desperate for a win, Warrington are the gift that keeps on giving. If you're top of the league, and you think your odds on to beat Warrington will turn it on and more likely beat you. It's always been the case for many, many years. I think they'll give a good account of themselves, Warrington. I think they'll be embarrassed by that performance against Wakefield. If they've got anything about them, they'll be embarrassed. Sam Burgess will be embarrassed. He'll have read them the riot act. I think it'll be a good battle of the forwards. I really do. Although, we've got a few players in the pack missing. I think where KR have got the advantage with our injuries is in the backs. And, Matt Duffy hasn't covered himself in glory for a couple of games out of the 2 games out of the last 3. He's not covered himself in glory. He's got to get in the game. And I think, I agree with the guys that it will be close to 60 minutes, but I'm going Hull KR 9-17.
Yeah, as to am I. I did this at Magic and Warrington completely surprised me. What I would say, and there's again, just looking a couple of weeks ahead to Wembley, it's going to be a real test of temperament as well, because it's going to be interesting if KR put a number on Warrington on Friday, how that affects them mentally in terms of the final, because then it's not only the expectation, because there will be even increased expectation. They do a number at the HJ against Warrington. The expectation is going to be massive that they do it again at Wembley, but it's a different type of pressure completely. So yeah, could be a Warrington lose, but I mean, we've seen this. Wakefield beat Leigh. Leigh beat Wakey. Leigh beat Warrington. Warrington beat Leigh. False sense of security type thing. But I do think it 9-17. Only Andy Bibby has gone the way of Warrington, and I think we can probably guess why that is. It was quite in the chat. He actually says that Warrington at their best beat KR at their best. I'm not so sure about that, Andy. I'm not so sure about that at all. But hey, I would hope you were right, but I'm not so sure.
Nobody wants Andy to be more right than I am, than me. But
we have
to be realistic.
Yeah, they are absolutely. We need to make sure we invest in some leads to hold them. Anyway, Saturday 2:30 on BBC on Sky. Castleford Tigers taking on the Leeds Rhinos. Suddenly, this is an interesting game, Steph. Rhinos in great form. Castleford Tigers, good win against. Well, I say good win. Statistically, it was closer than people thought, but it was a win nonetheless. It's at the Jungle, and Cass historically have had some big scalps on Leeds over the years, so could be a bell to this one. Steph, you kick off.
Yeah, I don't think it was too long ago that people correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Cass put 60 on Leeds?
Yeah.
Was it when Thingy was coach, Brian McDermott? No, McDermott.
McDermott, sorry,
yeah. I don't know why that's in my memory, it might statistically be completely incorrect. This, but I'm sure Leeds struggle at Cass quite a lot. So Cass coming off the back of that great win, but also Leeds phenomenal this season, phenomenal form. I would be amazed and I have been amazed before, but I would be amazed if Leeds don't win this by 9-17. So that's what I'm going to go with, Mark. I think, but as history has told us, this is a big game for Castleford. Castle love performing against Leeds, so I would be surprised if Cass did manage to get the win. It's not Salford they're playing. They're playing one of the form teams in Super League in Leeds who've well exceeded people's expectations and are playing some really good stuff. So I'm going to stick with my gut. I'm going to go Leeds 9-17.
Leeds 9-17. Right, in the interest of time, no more than a minute on these boys. Reggie, who are you going with and why?
I think Castleford, home advantage, tight ground. You know, Castleford have put on some decent performances this season, but I think Leeds are on fire at the minute. I'm going. They had to come back and fight hard against Hull. Hull are a different prospect this season. I'm going 9-17 Leeds.
Joel?
BBC always do some funny time kickoffs, don't they? Trust BBC to do that. But yeah, other than that, it's going to be a great game. Leeds are in really good form. Very interested to see how this one goes. But I'm going to go Leeds 9-17 to keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, as am I as well. Right, in fact, let's just quickly do the non-members. Non-members have gone Leigh 9-17. They've gone KR 18 plus. They've gone Leeds 9-17. They've gone Saints 18 plus. The members Leigh 1-8, KR 9-17, Saints 9-17, and the Rhinos 9-17. I think the Rhinos will have too much quality. Brodie Croft an extra week as well. That partnership with Connor, I think, has got the potential to be very potent indeed. It's going to be very interesting indeed to see how that one goes. Right, then we go to our first ever. Well, not our first ever, but certainly with the members anyway. The first ever watch along live. Craig Forth will be, doing his voice exercises in preparation for this one on Saturday night. 5:30. We'll be on air from 5:15, doing the team sheets and getting things up and running. Catalan Dragons, no Steve McNamara, taking on the Wigan Warriors. Should be an interesting affair. Joel, I'll let you kick off on this one. What are your thoughts? Will Joel Tomkins lead the Dragons to a win over his former side?
The worst team to play at this time, Wigan 18 plus, but I do think if he's allowed to do it for a few weeks, we might see a drastic improvement on Catalans.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll take that one. Greg?
It's always a bad time to play a team that's just sacked the coach and brings somebody in. We've seen it so many times that team that's been underperforming, players have been underperforming. The coach leaves, they turn it round. Wigan 18 plus. 18
plus to Wigan. And Steph?
I was going to say exactly the same to Reggie. You see a coach leave, you always see a bounce back from that team. I'm not going to be as harsh as that. I'm going to go Wigan 9-17.
Yeah, I've done the same. I think there will be a slight reaction from Catalan, and that could be the 9-17. So yeah, I'm going to go 9-17. Non-members gone 9-17. Members have gone 9-17. Ryan Bevan's gone Catalan 1-8. Good luck with that. I'll have a pint of that. Sam Shaw, Wigan 18 plus. Jill's gone 8. And speaking of Jill, the second member to upgrade this evening. She's now a Team Talk member. She loved the final whistle clearly that much. She wants to make sure she can do that every week. Well done, Jill. And that, I think, is a massive testament to this membership. Our actual lowest tier of membership is the cheapest by a country mile. People start on 18th man, very quickly upgrade, and we've had loads of people upgrade from 6 again up to 18 to Team Talk because they love the community, they love what we're doing, they want to support us. If you're watching this for free tonight, come on, it makes sense. Come and join the community, get yourself entrenched in this community, get on the WhatsApp group, become bigger, become better. We really would love to invite you into our little family that is growing all the time. Right, we move on to the last game. Wakey against Salford. Don't want to labour this point, but that said, Salford had a better side out, and statistically, they, other than the scoreline, it was all about execution. Castleford, if you get into the detail, it was all about what they executed. Salford wasn't that bad, and Nene McDonald was superb. So Wakey can ill afford to take Salford lightly, is what I would say. In any game of rugby league, you have to earn the right to win it. If they play like they did against Warrington, shouldn't be any problem whatsoever. But that word mentality, again, you've got to be up for these games, because if you're not, I think now there's enough quality in the Salford team to pinch a win if Wakey aren't on their game. Reggie, start with you this time. What's your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, I think, fair play to Salford at the weekend. Fair play to Danny McDonald. He looked the class player that he can be at times. I just think Wakey, that early in the season they found it easy to win away. They couldn't win at home. I think they've got that monkey off the back now. I think the way they performed, Warrington didn't have a bad team out. They had some injuries, but they didn't have a bad team out. They didn't have a team out that should be losing 40 points to 10 to Wakefield. And that's no disrespect to Wakefield. I think Wakey have got a team mentality, and I think they're going to win this 18+.
Fantastic. Joel?
They're at Bellevue. It's a really, really, really tough ground to go to for any team, but be at the top of the league or the bottom. Wakey are doing some incredible stuff. They're currently in 6th, are they? They're there for the playoffs. They're in contention. They're going to want to ride this wave as long as they possibly can and see if they can build up some more momentum. And with the extra news of Salford, if it is true as it is, as it stands, as you said, Dave, it's mentality. Is their mental health taking a bashing? Are they going to be turning up for the games? Are they going to play? Too many questions, not enough answers. So I've gone Wakey 18+.
And Steph?
Yeah, like Dawn Kirby said in the chat there, Nicarima, who's been integral to anything decent that Salford have done this season, hobbled off in that game. So that's another loss for them. For me, this is the chalk and cheese of two teams. It's a team that's playing as a team. It's a team that's playing as 17 players who look like they've never played together before. It's going to be a cakewalk for Wakefield, 18+ all day. I'd probably go as far as 30+. I think Wakefield are going to absolutely romp home in this one. So up the trin.
I'll tell you what's not going to be a cakewalk. Dawn Kirby found the way to the Bluebell from the Halliwell. Dawn, you've been to the Bluebell before. You know where you're going, Dawn. Come on, don't be late. Make sure you set off in plenty of time. You're lovely to see my old mate Dawn Kirby at the Bluebell on Friday night. Absolutely outstanding. Right, let's quickly get this done. Here we go.
Are you sick and tired of winning your bets every week? Want to contribute to the bookies' Christmas party? The bets to ignore when predicting the score. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Bet Steph.
Well, we did have our first Bet Steph victory last weekend with the three anytime scorers. It wasn't on this one, so but hopefully we can get our first win on this one this week. So I've taken Leigh minus 6.5. Although I do think it's going to be very close. This could be probably the tightest one. But I have took Leigh minus 6.5. Hopefully they'll just have enough for Hull FC at the home advantage. Huddersfield plus 12.5. Again, I do see a Saints winning this game, but I think Huddersfield are going to put in a decent performance. And again, I see this being a very, very tight game. So that's where I've took the 2-score handicap for Huddersfield. Hull KR minus 8.5. Again, Hull KR playing so well at the moment. I think they're going to have too much for Warrington, and I think they can overcome that minus 8.5 handicap. Same as Leeds. Although that ground isn't the best for Leeds, the way the two teams are playing at the moment, I fully expect Leeds to be at least a score better than Castleford in this game, so minus 6.5. And Wigan minus 8.5 over in Catalan. Wigan are going to have too much for Catalan, even regards of the coaching bounce back situation and McNamara leaving. I can still see them overcoming that 8.5 handicap. So if you bet on those, obviously the Salford games don't come out at the moment still. So it's just a fivefold, but it is 25-1.
Could you do it? Could you do it? Could you go and get your second win of the season? 2 weeks on the bounce, Mr. Sale. Who is to say?
No.
Well, who's to say that you won't? And of course, Captain's Run live on Thursday. He will be doing his anytime try scorers. That one was the potent one last week. Will he get it right again? Absolutely wonderful stuff. So there you go. Another Super League Raw Weekly. We're going to do the top performers before we go. But yeah, last word from myself. There it is again. Please, please, please come and join our community. Do that QR code. Come and join the community. I think it speaks volumes how many people have upgraded their membership because they're loving what they get. If you're a rugby league fan, you're going to love being a part of this community. So please do consider becoming a part. It's only $2.99, $4.99 a month. It's absolute peanuts, but the benefits absolutely outstrip it. You could be on the Final Whistle podcast this week, just like Jill was last week. That's the dog. I'm going to shoot it. Always on cue. No animals will ever be harmed as a part of Super League Raw. For you dog lovers out there, I would never.
I think the dog's got him. Dog's been through his cable.
He's on his way.
Oh.
I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. Yeah. Somebody took the plug out. Anyway,
Dave,
dog bit through your cable.
Dave.
Yeah,
Dave, sorry. Can I just respond to Andy Bibby?
Go for it.
He keeps saying that I bet against Warrington all the time, and it keeps biting me. It didn't bite me last week, Paul.
Hey, go on, lad. There you go.
That Wakefield plus 2.5 came in like a steam train. That one came in.
Absolutely, it did. Right,
last as well, mate. Andy, come down to the Bluebell. Let's meet you.
Come down to the Bluebell. Right. Very important for those people who are watching who are Robins fans, right? If you're driving, it's free of charge after 6 o'clock to park on the Golden Square, and it's literally a 2-minute walk to the Bluebell, and then we can walk down to the HJ from the Bluebell. So if you're driving, set your sat-nav to the Golden Square car park. You'll be able to park for free, get free parking. It's all secured to the Bluebell, to the HJ. We want as many Robins as possible in the Bluebell. We'll get you on camera. We'll get you interviews. We'll get the team sheets. It'll be a great bit of fun. We're going to have some games as well. I've already thought up some games. It's going to be good fun. It's going to be the perfect way to start your Friday night before we go down to the HJ. Make sure you get a bit of Super League Raw live before you go there. Boys, as always, massive thank you for your time. Here comes the top performers. We'll do it all again next week. And don't forget, social tomorrow night for the members. Captain's Run on Thursday. Bye for now. Here are your top performers after 11 rounds of the Betfred Super League. The top try scorer is still Jai Field of the Wigan Warriors. He's got 12. Whilst the best try assister of the season thus far and extending his lead is Lachlan Lamb of the Leigh Leopards with 16. The most meters made in Super League have come from Matt Duffy with 1,755 for the wire. Whilst the most clean breaks are once again by Jai Field of the Wigan Warriors, 14. The top tackler is Oliver Partington of the Catalans Dragons, 471 from him. Whilst the top tackle buster continues to be the Wigan Warriors Junior Incember with 71. The most hard meters made down the middle, you've got to be a prop forward, second row loose forward in this one is Alex Walmsley of St Helens, 1,425. Whilst the most offloads have come from Tavita Pangai Jr. of the Catalans Dragons with 28. And finally, the most goals in Super League that have been kicked thus far have come from the boots of Adam Kieran with 32. These are your top performers after 11 rounds of the Betfred Super League.